It was like being stalked by a predator. In June of 2019, a Reddit user posted a story that began with that simple sentence. He went on to explain that his girlfriend and he were at their home when they heard what sounded like heavy breathing coming from outside. The breathing continued despite them closing all of the windows and turning off all of the fans. Then the scratching started. It was on the walls, the floor, even the ceiling. They could hear it in the vents too. As if someone or something was crawling through the air ducts, their terror mounted with each passing moment. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't figure out what was making those sounds. And then, yes, then came the voice. Before we continue, let me ask you this question. What do you do in a situation like this? Would you try to find the source of the noise, or would you run away as fast as you can? Maybe you'd call the police, or maybe you'd just hope that whatever was out there would eventually get bored and go away. Our Reddit user didn't do any of those things. Instead, he made a plan. He grabbed a gun and waited in the dark for the thing to come closer. He told his girlfriend to stay under the covers while he loaded the shotgun and hoped for the best. He fired into the darkness and heard the unmistakable sound of a body hitting the floor. Silence followed, and he crept closer to the spot where the noise had originated. There, he found a pair of muddy shoes. He called the cops. But when they arrived, they found nothing. And thus the mystery remained unsolved to this very day. What was that sound? Was it a person, an animal, or something else entirely? Let us know your theories in the comments. Sleep paralysis. For our next story, let's head over to Quora, where we meet another person who had an unsettling experience. One night, as she was sleeping, she heard a knock. She described it as someone knocking the side of the door, like it was a spaceship about to land. Naturally, she was frightened, and when she finally got up enough courage to open the door, she found nothing. That happened again a few weeks later, but still, she found nothing. Then one night she woke up because she heard her name being called. No one was there, but she didn't think much of it until it happened a third time. At that point, she knew she had to do something, so she talked to her pastor and he blessed her house. After that, she never heard the knocking again. Was it a ghost trying to get her attention? Did she have an extremely vivid dream that bled over into her waking life? Or was it simply her imagination running wild? Sometimes the answers to these mysteries are more terrifying than the mysteries themselves. Ghostly growls. Next, let us look at a Reddit post written by a young boy who woke up in the middle of the night to hear what sounded like growling in his parents' room. Naturally, he assumed that it was a big cat, since his dad loved watching nature documentaries about big cats. The boy was only half asleep, though, so he just assumed that his dad was watching one of his programs without turning the volume down. He turned over in bed and went back to sleep. The next morning, however, he told his mom and dad about the growling. They both laughed and told him that it was probably just a cat, insisted that it wasn't, since he would have known if his dad had left the TV on. Still, neither of his parents believed him, that is, until the growling happened again. And then again, and then again. Night after night, the boy woke up to those terrible growls. One night, his parents decided to investigate. They got up and went to the boy's room, but they couldn't hear anything. They checked all of the windows and doors to make sure that nothing had gotten in. But once they stepped back into their room, the growling started right up. The couple quickly learned that the sounds were coming from inside the wall. To this day, they have no idea what caused the noise. They even brought in a priest, but that didn't help. To this day, they still sleep with the lights on. The shadow people. Let us take a break from Reddit and Quora and check out a viral TikTok video that has been viewed nearly 3 million times. A young woman is telling her friends about shadow people. If you don't know what shadow people are, they are usually seen at the edge of your vision. They may be standing in the corner of a room or lurking at the end of a hallway. Some people believe that they are malevolent spirits. Others believe that they are simply a manifestation of our own fears. Whatever they are, they seem to appear to a lot of people throughout history. In this video, the woman says that she was staying up late one night when she saw 2 shadow people in the corner of her eye. When she looked over, she saw 2 figures standing over her. Of course, she screamed and the shadow people vanished. That's when she noticed something strange. 2 spots on her blanket had become completely white, as if the shadow people had sucked the color out of the fabric. But the most disturbing part of the story is that her dog, who usually sleeps with her, was nowhere to be found. Apparently the dog had sensed the presence of the shadow people and refused to go near her. Maybe dogs can see things that we can't. This story seems like a made-up horror story, but the woman swears that it's true. Death outside the window. Here's a creepypasta that comes from a now-defunct website called Messed Up Origins. A man is sitting in his room one night when he hears a loud crash outside of his window. When he looks out, he sees a man lying motionless on the ground below. He calls the cops. But when they arrive, they tell him that there's nothing they can do. The man is dead, but there's no evidence of foul play. The witness argues with the cops and tells them that he saw the man fall, but they won't listen. They claim that the man must have fallen on his own and that there's nothing they can do about it. But something doesn't sit right with the witness. He knew that the man hadn't fallen on his own. He had seen a shadowy figure standing next to the man before he fell. As the days pass, the witness becomes obsessed with finding out what really happened. He starts doing his own investigation and eventually uncovers a sinister plot. The man who died was a private investigator who had been looking into the activities of a local crime boss. When the witness realizes that he's in danger, he goes on the run. He knows that the crime boss will stop at nothing to protect his secrets. And as the witness travels around the country, he uncovers more and more about the dark underworld of crime. He also learns that he's not the only one who saw the man fall. There were other witnesses, but they were too afraid to come forward. Eventually, the witness decides that he has to do something. He can't let the killer get away with what he did, so he teams up with a group of unlikely allies, and they set out to bring the killer to justice. But as they close in on the truth, they find themselves in more danger than ever before. The killer is ruthless, and he will stop at nothing to protect himself. Can the witness and his allies uncover the truth and bring the killer to justice? Or will they become the next victims? Which story was your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And before you go, make sure to stay tuned for more creepy videos like this one. See you next time.